After countless days and countless nights, we're finally here. A new chapter of Arknights' main story. Oh, I feel like I'm tearing up. It feels like it's been so long since we've had an update to the main story. I'm just so happy, And it's new operator, new banner. When was the last time I've heard the phrase new operator? It feels like it's been months. And like the fact that all my operators are at max trust now, it just tells me that it's been such a long time since we've had a new operator. So obviously I'm excited to come back with another should you pull video. So the target today is Ines, and oh gosh, Ines, I really miss you. I have been using her in my CN content like for the past 6 months ish, and I really miss using her in global. I actually like just forget about that she's not even global like several times. I just try to pick her from my vanguards, and I remind myself, oh yeah, she's not even out yet. But yeah, I really hope that everyone is gonna pull for Ines, because I'm really biased towards this operator. I feel like I really like her. I really like her mechanic. I really like how she works, and I just feel like she's such an important operator in my roster. So it's up to the ultimate question again of should you pull this operator, right? And before I give you guys any answers, I really want to hear how you guys think, because we all know that we will be getting a limited banner really soon. As per tradition, we get a limited banner every 3 months, so it's about time. And I want to see, like, what do you guys think you're gonna do, and then if you change your mind after my explanation. So I hope I can see you guys down in the comment section and see you guys' opinion. So the short answer for should you pull Ines obviously is going to be a resounding yes, and that's not just because I'm super biased. I like the whole community and me strongly agrees that she is a critical operator that plays a huge role in a lot of the content that we're going to be enjoying down the road. IS4 and like all the new events, I end up using her quite often. So why is that? Well, we'll have to look at her kits. So Ines, I think most of us are familiar with this archetype at this point. She is the same archetype as Cantabile. So for us who's been using Cantabile for the past few months, we would know that well. She's really versatile. She generates DP really quickly, where you don't have to wait for like skill to activate. You need to activate her skill, you just put her down, and then she's just generating DP, right? Ines is like the 6-star variant, and she actually separates herself with Cantabile quite a bit in terms of what they can do. So in some instances, I still would pick Cantabile in like IS4, but a lot of the other situations, I would just be like, well, I would much prefer to have Ines here. So they play similar, but clearly different roles in like different situations. So Ines, let's look at her talent first, because her talent is actually really important. Like I kind of forgot about it, so when preparing for this video, I went back and looked at her talents, to prepare, and I just realized how broken her kit is once again. So Ines's first talent is that the first time she deals damage to an enemy, she will bind the enemy for 5 seconds and steal 90 of its attack, and this effect will last till the target is defeated or when Ines leaves. So the stealing effect is kind of like, well, Ines gains a 90 attack, enemy minus 90 attack. It's pretty simplistic, and the 5-second bind is really one of the biggest reasons that I really love Ines. Is obviously you have operators like Texas Alter when you can just drop down and stun the enemies, but like obviously a lot of the enemies, especially like bosses, will have resistance towards stun. Well, bind resistance actually isn't quite as common. So a lot of the bosses will just be not immune to the bind. And like if you use Texas in other situations where you have like a lot of enemies that you would like to crowd control at once, in that case you would just put down Ines and just let her bind that one enemy that is just like charging towards your base, right? In those instances, I really find Ines's talent to be really useful, first talent. And it's 5 seconds. And then if you like double that with and like collectible in IS4 or something, it's 10 seconds of mind. It's actually really powerful. Now, her second talent is also really broken. I kind of don't understand why they made her so OP. So her second talent is that all the enemies that are within her attack range, they will lose invisibility. So yes, goodbye Silver Ash. We'll say goodbye to one of the rare uses of you, and decrease their movement speed by 30%. So it's double effect, right? If there's like an enemy that charges towards your house, runs really quickly, and are invisible, Ines completely counters that. But there's more. When you retreat Ines, she will leave a shadow sentry and keep applying that effect. You heard me right. Even if she's not on the field, she can still cancel invisibility. Silver Ash, you gotta keep him on the field. You gotta use that deployment limit. Ines, don't need to. The thing will just stay there. That is so broken. That is really good. If you don't see like how significant that is, like in, oh my god, so many situations, like especially in IS4, there's a lot. It's spoilers. I can't really talk too much about it, but like that is really critical. Deployment limit is important, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I feel like they just put too much effort into this second talent, and that kind of made her a bit too busted in my opinion. But I mean, why would I complain? I love her. I really like her. So that's actually not it. If you think, well, she's got really good talent and that alone makes her really good, you haven't seen the whole picture yet. There's more. There is more. So Ines's first skill is a traditional skill where you regenerate SP via attack, and even at M3, it costs 3 SP. And the effect is that the next attack, so the skill activation, which is automatically triggered, will apply 3 seconds of damage over time, equivalent to 80% of Ines's attack as arch damage for 3 seconds. So a total of 240% of her attack as arch damage. It's not really that much, and you can't stack it as well, so it doesn't really scale that well with attack speed. And you also gain 2 deployment cost with that. So it's about 2 DP every 4 seconds. It's not bad, and it's really consistent. So, you know, if you just keep her on the field, it does keep doing the job. And since that either at skill level 7 or M3, the skill will cost 3 SP anyway, I think you don't really have to mastery it. I think skill level 7 is just perfectly fine. Skill 2, on the other hand, is very different. So skill 2 is a automatically recovering skill and will last for 12 seconds at M3. And during the skill duration, she will have increased attack area. So that will apply to the anti-invisibility effect as well. Attack plus 110%, plus 110%, not towards 110%. It's like 210% of her attack. And she will gain invisibility herself. You heard me right. Survivability on a Vanguard. So this is one of those skills where I would actually choose, if I really want to choose to keep her on the field, I would just go with skill 2. Now, for every time she attacks, she will gain 1 DP and steal 7 attack speed. So just like her first talent, this is stealing attack speed from the enemy, and you can steal up to 70 attack speed. So as you can imagine, even though it's only 12 seconds of skill duration, she can steal way more than just 12 hits. Way more than that, because in the end of the skill, you just see her going crazy attacking. And that actually kind of applies to, well, if you think about it, her talent will also bind the enemy for 5 seconds. So if you activate her skill in the right time, she'll just bind all the enemies that are charging towards you, right? And that just makes her kind of have some sort of crowd control capability, even though it's not really AoE or hitting multiple targets, but it just somehow has that effect, just naturally. And that is basically why I would recommend everyone to M3 the skill, because even just the skill cooldown alone, 20 seconds versus 24 seconds if you're skill level 7, I think that's big enough of a deal. And yeah, why not? This is probably one of my favorite skills, like the default skill I will go to, because third skill I would consider to be more of a special situation skill. Equally as strong, different situations in terms of use. Now, Ines' third skill. This is a passive skill, as you can see right here, and it will last for 16 seconds. And this skill is really unique, where the first time you deploy Ines in a stage, if you're carrying the third skill, the first deployment will not use any DP, and she will put down a Shadow Sentry and just leave the field immediately and replenish the redeployment time. So you will basically be putting on a Shadow Sentry. Now, the next time you deploy her, she will have gained 160% of her attack, immediately retrieve the Shadow Sentry, and pierce through up to 6 enemies and deal 200% of her attack as physical damage to all those 6 enemies. Now, this is really cool if you know how to use this skill properly. So you can, let's say, deploy your operator, like deploy Ines on the other side of the map, where like it will form a lane where the enemy will be walking through, and then the second time you deploy her, you can put her on the other side of the map, and she will just penetrate 6 enemies and just hit all of them. That is really useful. And within the duration of the skill, for every damage she hits, whenever she attacks an enemy, she deals damage to an enemy, she will also gain 1 DP. So you can immediately gain 6 DP if you use this Shadow Sentry correctly. And this skill will last for 16 seconds. So obviously 16 plus 6, you're getting roughly about 21, 22 DP at max. The fact is that not only she has Shadow Sentry with this skill, which is obviously really good, you can actually use this Shadow Sentry really quickly without cost, twice basically. You can use it in 2 different positions immediately, but obviously afterwards it will only be 1 place. So I would really consider this skill as would you guys remind Cantabile's first skill, where you just put her down, deal damage, retreat. This is kind of like that, but just a lot more damage, And so that is why usually I would really just bring her second skill, because I want more of the other effects that she can apply, like anti-invisibility. She also goes invisible. She also just binds enemy, which I think is a critical part of her, and something Cantabile doesn't have. And so if you really think about it, I would really separate Cantabile and Ines in 2 different categories, where if all I want is just generate DP and a semi quick redeploy, I would just bring Cantabile. She's cheaper to deploy, and she does the job. But if I want anything more than that, if I want any control, any extra damage, I would go with Ines. And that actually applies in IS as well, where because Cantabile only costs 3 hope to recruit, and Ines will cost obviously way more than that, 6 hope or 7 depending on which difficulty you're on. That really separates them. But I will say in IS4, I would pick Ines over Cantabile any day of the week, for real. And that is why I genuinely think that everyone should really pull Ines, despite the fact that we all know that we were going to be having a limited banner really, really soon. I believe if you miss out on Ines, you will regret it. She provides so much value. It's value. The way I would describe it is, think of Myrtle. Back in the day when Myrtle wasn't a thing, we were all like, well, the Vanguard game is there, right? You just do Siege, and then you put on Texas or Zima, depending. You put on those 2 Vanguards and you're all good, right? And then Myrtle came onto the field and just slapped all of us in the face and be like, that's what you call DP generation. And I think Ines redefines the Vanguard class. I personally believe she's the best designed Vanguard out of the entire game. They gave her enough kits, but doesn't make her too OP. She just solves the problems. She solves the mechanics, but that doesn't make her too OP. She's still squishy, right? She only has 310 defense and whatnot. She's not doing a ton of damage. She just deals enough damage, and that just makes her like a really all-rounded but not too OP operator. And that's what I really like about her as well. So that is about it for this video. I hope you guys have changed your mind if you didn't want to pull Ines, but now heard my explanation and I somehow convinced you to pull her. For those of us who were already going to pull Ines, I hope that my video actually made you feel like, yeah, you made the right choice. Hopefully so. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next time, where hopefully Ines, seeing all my love towards her, will make it really easy for me to pull her. I'll see you guys then. Bye.